Welcome to the Digital Self-Defense Podcast, where you will learn the fastest path to a safer digital life. Makani will teach you 3 simple safety skills that will help you stay ahead of the bad guys, protect what matters, and keep up with changes in technology, even AI. Welcome in. I'm Nick Jackson, and again, I'm here along with my good buddy, Makani Mason. Super pumped. As you know, he is our master guardian. He likes to take care of us in our digital self-defense efforts. So, that said, this is episode 108. Can you believe that? Man. And today, I'm hesitant to introduce what we're going to be talking about, because last time somebody threw me a huge curveball, if you recall. And that curveball threw me off, and now I'm trying to pull up my notes because I wanted to throw him a curveball back. I made a specific note about today's episode that I'm going to throw at him. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay. So today we're going to talk about the 3 principles, 3 keys?
Principles. I purposely avoided thinking that word.
I did it. We're avoiding that word.
Yeah. I'm, not exactly, but at least for this context, this usage, I am. Even though in a lot of ways I do feel like they are principles. I chose to call them skills because
skills. That's what it was. My mistake.
Because there's more direct association with skills of the notion that you've got to not only learn them, but you've got to practice and apply the skills in order for them. Right?
Way better than principles. I like that.
Yeah, I think for most people, at least. For me, I think principles felt like too much of a Makani choice word, and skills I felt like was more of our listeners' choice word. That was my intent anyway. So
I like it. Sounds good.
But I'm ready for your curveball.
You ready?
Yeah.
My curveball is, what's going to be your baseball analogy with this episode? Since you threw that one in on me last time, I'm going to make you throw another one in today.
Oh, good luck with that one. You are the master of baseball. I mean, I was managed to throw one, but curveball, like that's the ubiquitous baseball metaphor, right? So that's the easy one. That's like the what do we call that? The I don't even know what's the opposite. What's the easy throw like in baseball? There's a name for that probably.
A name for an easy pitch?
Oh yeah, isn't there a name for that?
All right, baseball fanatics, you're going to have to help me out. Is there a name?
Fair enough. Okay, I guess that failed too. But anyway,
that's all. That's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to catch you on your toes. So, but no, today we're really going to be talking about the 3 safety skills.
Yeah.
Is that correct? So.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, where do we start? Because obviously there's 3 that you've come up with.
Yep.
Right now. And so I imagine these are going to be more of our critical ones, right?
Yeah. I mean, right. They're obviously not an exhaustive list. The idea behind the podcast is to focus on, the most, the first 3 that you'd want, right? The first most important. And but before I even actually get into those, there's a couple other things. Like I wanted to ask you actually, and this isn't really a curveball, but how do you think about what we're trying to teach people with our podcast? How would you describe that? No wrong answer, just
how to protect themselves in a digital world. Like if I were to sum it up, like I want people to know, and this is why I always like when you do some instructing and you provide some principles. Because in my opinion, if you understand the principles, you also have an understanding of the threat, of consequences that could happen if you don't abide by those principles, right? And so for me, it's really important that, yes, we know our adversary and understand what threats we may face, but also taking on and learning the fighting skills to fight back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are my thoughts. That answer your question?
Yeah, it does. Well, and, obviously especially in the last 2 years, this has changed a lot of like how I think about it. I could have answered this in a dozen different ways if you asked me over that time. And I expect that'll continue to change and grow at least to a certain degree. But it is, I feel like, settling down to a certain degree.
Yeah.
And so the safety skills is part of that. So here's one of the ways I'm thinking about that now in that's relevant to this context.
Yeah.
For some areas in life, we have basic safety rules that if you ask people, everybody would give more or less, or at least in America, I don't know globally, right? But in America, they would, give more or less the same answers, even if they don't necessarily follow those safety rules. Right. So with driving, we have you wear your seatbelt.
Stop signs, yield signs, lights.
Stay off the phone, even though I know that one gets violated a lot. We all know that it's a good idea.
I would never use my phone while driving. Never.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Thank you for Apple CarPlay.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. So with flying, it's even more universal because, we've got that safety video that we watch it every, we get to greatly enjoy every time we fly. Right?
Yep.
With camping or hiking, we know we need to bring enough water. That's kind of a very basic one. Maybe this one I struggle a little more about. You use a fire pit, right? If there's fire hazards, you don't want to spread. If you go alone, tell somebody where you're going.
Yeah.
And of course, like we talked about last time, in the self-defense land, there's, box their ears, poke them in the eyes, knee them in the groin, whatever, right? So what I'd like to do is have a set of things that are that readily identifiable and in people's minds when it comes to online, and digital security, digital safety. So can you think of any that currently exist that you would identify like that right now, Nick? Because if I'm framing this question right, you definitely can answer it, because this is not meant to be a curveball. This is like supposed to be the no-brainer answer. So it's just,
We've already created a couple of tools that I can think of.
Yeah, but not by me. I'm talking about like elsewhere, not mine. We're going to get to those, but I'm talking about like the bigger picture ones that, like, if you were going to think, let me ask it this way, Nick.
Okay.
Because I'm definitely looking for a specific answer here, more or less.
Oh boy, I'm on this.
If you ask just a random person, what are the most basic bad thing you should avoid doing online? What is it?
Don't click on bad links.
Yes, thank you. That is the answer. Yeah, exactly. Right? And the reason why I was fishing for a specific one, the point is that, like, there are a few things in our collective association that we hear so much.
Right.
That's what I'm looking for. Is I want it to be like that comes to everybody's mind. Now, maybe that's a wild, crazy aspiration, but that's what I'd like to do. Right.
Okay.
So here's another one that's pretty ubiquitous. Don't respond to high pressure or high emotions. Don't make decisions there. Right.
Right.
Because they're tricking you into something.
Yeah.
Right. And now you've complained about this advice to me a lot. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And you're welcome to rant about it for a second if you'd like, because I think it's important to understand why you have complaints about it, because I think I agree. I'll phrase it in my own way, but I'm curious to hear your complaints on there.
I'm going to let you start.
Okay.
Just in case my rant carries us in a different direction, you can ring me back in.
Okay. I
want to at least hear what your thoughts are on this.
Yeah, well, so for me, it kind of feels like telling you things it's too late. Like, don't crash into other cars. Don't get heat stroke while you're hiking. Don't get eaten by a bear.
Right, as you're being eaten by a bear. It's like, oh, he's got my foot in his mouth.
Right.
Don't get eaten by that bear.
Yeah, so, obviously those are things all you want to avoid, but they all require preparation. It's not enough to just say, I'm never gonna click on a bad link.
Right.
Like, if you recognize it as a bad link, of course you're not going to.
Right.
And if you could think clearly under pressure, then of course you'd make the smarter decision.
Yeah.
Right. But
Yeah.
in all these areas online with driving, with all these things, it's about preparation.
Yeah.
That's the key concept, key principle that I think about, that I identify in there, is preparation. We've got to prepare before we encounter the bad thing. And the ubiquitous advice we get about online has nothing to do with preparation. It has to do with what you're supposed to do in the moment. That's hard to do if you haven't prepared. So it feels kind of useless advice, because of course I don't want to click on a bad link. Duh.
Right.
I mean, it does give you a little bit. It tells you that such a thing as bad links exist.
Right.
But for most people, by this point, they know bad links exist.
Right. We know bad links exist.
I'd just like something a little more useful. How can I prepare myself? What's a strategy that I can do to help me actually take action and not click on the bad links?
Yes, exactly. Well, identify, again.
Yeah, right. Identify. Yeah. Or not be exposed to it in the first
not
place.
Get close to it.
Like eliminate it from your life.
Yes, absolutely.
That'd be even better, right? You never have to think about it.
If I could not think about bad links, that would be such a peace of mind. Because every email I get, I'm like, I don't know if I trust you.
Yeah.
Now maybe that's a product of being of the 80s, being born in the 80s. Like, we just don't trust anyone. But what bad links are there? What's for me, it's always about, when we say bad links, I feel like they're creeping in the shadows, but they disguise themselves so well, I don't know if I'm going to recognize them all. Now, obviously, there's some that, as we've gone through in our podcast, you can recognize quickly. Misspellings, mispunctuations, coming from some crazy, weird email address you've never heard of. You're like, dude, that has nothing to do with this company. Like, there's some things that have helped recognize, right? But man, what I'd do to shine some light on them.
Yeah. So that's the inspiration behind the 3 safety skills. Is we want to have something that they're all preparation skills.
Okay. I love it, man.
So now these aren't final. The thing I've learned in these last especially 2 and 3 years with you, Nick, is like, I knew how to stay safe online when we started this journey, right?
Right.
But experimenting, like teaching other people the best way how to do it, that's a whole different ballgame,
Yeah.
And even though I've been helping lots of people here and there, but doing it comprehensive and ground up and everybody, whatever. Anyway, I feel like we're getting better. We're figuring this out, but I expect also to always continue improving, finding ways to improve our techniques and simplify and speed things up. So that's my caveat with all these. Don't expect that they're 100% set in stone, but I'm hopeful that this is going to be a huge step forward. And so my intent is, with this podcast, this is the next kind of phase of the experiment, Nick.
Yeah, for sure.
Specifically, what I mean by that is that every episode going forward now is going to be focused on one of those skills. Like, that'll be the highlight. I mean, we'll have some specific application, some specific tool or whatever else, but we're always going to link it back to one of those 3 skills. Be reminding every episode, literally, it'll just be one of those. So, because I want those to be firmly anchored in your mind, because they have such broad application. They are principles in a way, right? They're broadly applicable safety skills. And then each episode will be, okay, here's a way you apply that skill, but always tie it back to that skill.
Dude, let me throw you a baseball analogy now real quick, because I love that.
Yeah, okay.
And are we to the point that I can give my summation?
I mean, I haven't actually introduced the safety skills, but, we can just save that for the next 3 episodes, because we're going to be doing the next 3 where we talk about each one individually anyway.
Okay.
and we're running a little bit long. So yeah, let's hear your summation, and then we'll continue next week.
Here's my summation. I'm going to make it a baseball thing or any
Perfect.
sports related.
Yeah.
When you go and play a sport, there are certain skills you have to learn and have to master. You know, I look at my son who's getting ready to go play college ball. Very, 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 very good pitcher. He's had to acquire a different skill set than his shortstop, right?
Yeah.
And he's tailored them to make sure that he's mastered his set of skills so that he can succeed and thrive, right? And so we're going to take these skills, and we know McConney, we know our Master Guardian. We might all of a sudden have a ton of new episodes regarding multiple skills, and that's okay, because as we go along, we create these skill set, we become professional. We become the masters of it. If you learn and you practice a set of skills, you will eventually become a master at what you're doing. So I'm excited. I can't wait. I know what the 3 skills are. I'll introduce the next one in the first episode, but I'm going to leave them dangling for the other 2. Make sure you tune in. The next 3 episodes are going to be awesome. Please tune in.
Cool. No, I mean, that's a good summation. I think, I guess the only thing I'll add is my hope is that, recently for a while, we've been focused just on email.
Mm-hmm.
And, I obviously decided to expand that focus in the podcast a little bit. But my goal is to find the right balance of, focus and flexibility.
Yeah.
Email was a little bit too narrow of focus for what I want to accomplish in the podcast. But we do want to keep it focused enough. Like I said, obviously I'm always open to changing my mind, but right now I'm feel strongly about limiting it to 3.
Yeah.
Because I just think, we want to too many, and you don't get the impact that you need because you have too much. You spread your attention. You can only do so many things, and 1 was too little with email, but I'm hopeful that 3 built the right way will be the sweet spot. That's my goal. So anyway, that's how I'll wrap up my thoughts.
Right. We want you to be masters. We don't want you to be average at everything. We want you to be masters.
Yeah, at just a few simple things, the most important things for our listeners.
Excellent. I love it.
Okay. Before you go, I want to invite you to a free digital self-defense coaching call with me. If you know you should be doing more to stay safe online, but you're not sure where to start, this is for you. I'll help you take just one step forward in your digital security, the one step that's most important for you. Sign up for free at helpmegetsafe.com. Again, that's helpmegetsafe.com. Talk to you soon.